Hi, everybody, and welcome to NPGI. It's Roberta Heel. The video today is about being a good reviewer of articles for journals. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, NPGI, and write your comments below. Okay, I've submitted many articles for publication. I've also been asked to review many times, and I've been an editor for several journals for over a decade. The first and most important thing I have to say is a heartfelt thank you for all of you who have agreed to review articles. You have no idea how difficult it is to recruit people to review articles. Your contribution is very important and appreciated. Please don't hesitate to review in the future, and I encourage all of you to sign up to journals to review, especially the Nurse Practitioner Open Journal. Okay, so if I had to give one tip, it would be this. Don't be this may seem a bit extreme, but unfortunately, I've received and read reviews that are, how shall I say, less than professional. This isn't to say that you have to give a good review to every article. That's not it at all. It's just that reviewing an article shouldn't be the same as trolling on social media. Just because it's blinded to the authors, it shouldn't give you the freedom to say whatever you want in whatever tone you feel like saying it. So this tip is about your approach. Write the review as if the authors are sitting in front of you. Be polite and professional, no matter what you're giving, a positive or a negative review. Okay, when you're making comments, make sure they're specific. Just saying something like, this article has many flaws and is not ready for publication isn't helpful. Remember that the editors have sent it to you for a critique, which should provide detailed enough information to really inform the decision about whether the paper is worth sending back for revisions or to reject it altogether. Being specific also helps to reduce your personal bias about the topic, methods and writing style and more. And don't think for a minute that you don't have bias, because you do. If the paper is going to be revised, it's important that the authors have specific comments to work from. When I revise articles, I create a table with the reviewer's comments in one column and the author's comments and changes in the other column. And it becomes very clear how the reviewer's comments, how helpful they are when you try to use them to create the edits. So be clear. Finally, it's always helpful to point out the good aspects as well as the not so good aspects of an article. This is important because should the article be rejected, for example, then the authors will have some feedback to go from if they want to revise it and maybe submit to another journal. Okay, remember that the paper has already been vetted by the editors, and no article is perfect. The editors may be sending it to you to review to see if it's good enough or it's got potential to be published after revisions. So the editors want feedback on specific things, but you're provided with a template usually so that you give them the kind of content and comments that they want to know about. So of course you can send the editors a note or even the authors a note sometimes, but just don't go too far off script. Another important part of this is to identify if there are any areas of the article that you aren't qualified to review. Perhaps the analysis is foreign to you, or the content or focus of the paper is far outside of your area of expertise. In these cases, it may be wise to contact the editor to let them know or to clearly identify this gap in your review. Finally, remember that you're not the editor, and so there are some things that you don't have to worry too much about when you're reviewing the paper, and that is formatting, for example. Because if the paper is going to be accepted, then it will be proofed and formatted in the way that will be set up for publication. So you don't have to make those kinds of edits and just focus on the content. Once you've completed your review and submitted it, think about how much more of a commitment you want to have with respect to the article. Do you want to be involved in revisions? Was there an expectation that you take part in reviewing revisions? If so, you should receive the revisions with detailed notes from the authors about how they addressed your specific comments. So another reason to be specific. And remember that the authors have to make these revisions while continuing to meet the criteria of the journal. And actually, by continuing to meet the expectations of the other reviewers, sometimes they're very different from yours. It's kind of interesting to see what other people have to say. But they have to be cognizant of the length of the article and the number of tables, that sort of thing as well. The authors may also not agree or may not be able to address one or more of your comments. All this to say, keep an open mind. And remember, the author shouldn't be expected to refocus their paper based on your ideals. So Ask yourself if the revisions or the rationale that the authors have given are good enough for you to accept the article. The most helpful hint of all may simply be to think about how you would like your articles to be reviewed when you are reviewing an article, and be specific, thoughtful, and professional when you give feedback. I think we can all say that that's what we'd want to receive. So thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and sign up to be a reviewer for the Nurse Practitioner Open Journal. I put the link down below, as well as a link to a free gift, a book that is available on the Nurse Practitioner Global Initiatives website.